Hi, this is Linda and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In this video, I'm putting together my Project Life spread for the week of December 11th through December 17th, 2023. I only have a few more weeks left until my 2023 album is completed. For this week, I'm working with the Present Story Kit from Ali Edwards. So let's go ahead and dive right in. For this one, I'm working with the Present Story Kit, and I took this out of my notebook just to show you. I have sketched out my plan here, so this is what I'm going to be doing for this layout. For Project Life, in terms of pre-planning, I don't tend to sketch out my spreads ahead of time, except for when I'm working with the story kits or some of the other kits that I do plan for. But that's not most of my kits. So like the stories by the month and stuff, I don't plan those ones out in advance. And I like having that combination in my album, some that are pre-planned like this one and others that aren't. For this one, I had a very strict plan. So I knew I needed to print 5 4x6 photos and 3 3x4 photos. So I had made this little list here on my sticky note. And in my album ahead of time, I had printed out these photos and tallied them off as I printed them. So I'm working with the Present Story Kit, and I have this one for my title card. And unfortunately, it's not on the right side because these are like the zigzag ones, but it'll work. And then I have this one card to go here. I have this card for some journaling and this one for some embellishments. And the rest are going to be photos. What I have for most of my journaling, though, are these Right Now story cards, which are going to go on top of my 4x6 photos. Okay, so this is the week of December 11th through 17th, 2023. So I have my Hobonichi cousin here, which has all of my notes about what I'm doing what I did this week. And I know I baked cookies. I went out to lunch with my friend Jen. Those were kind of the big stories of the week. And then I just have a few like random notes and stuff. So I'm going to put this off to the side and reference it as I'm coming up with my stories and just lay out my photos. So one of the big stories was baking cookies with Summer. And so I have these 2 photos for that. And then let's see, this is just another little photo from the week. This is just a random, this is what Pumpkin's doing. And here's another one. I was working on a puzzle. And here's for lunch with my friend. So let's see, these 2 are also from lunch with my friend, so I might want to switch around. So let's see, I'm going to put these ones, I'm going to do the cookie ones on this side. So those 2 can be together. And then for lunch with my friend, I had 2 3x4s and a 4x6. And then this one, although this is too many photos for me and that's upside down. So I don't love that. Let me do it like this. What if I do this here? And then, I really want, okay, so it's not gonna work to put all of these together without having too many photos in one spot. So what I'm gonna do is switch it back to how I had it and put the cookies on this side because I did like the way that looked. And then I'm gonna put this one back here and then these 2. And then I'll put this one up here, or maybe put this one here and put this one with Jen up there. And here's just my mug. Think that's good. Okay. So that's kind of my general layout. Then let's see, I need to lay these cards out. So when I selected and printed my 4x6 photos, I intended to put these on top of the photos. So I thought of ways that I can make space on the photos. So like this one here, when I took it, I explicitly left the space. For like this one and this one, I'm okay kind of covering up some of the table. Here is just kind of like my cat in the den. He's sleeping there if you didn't see him. So I'm thinking I could just put something like that. Maybe I'll put the orange one on here. That seems bright. I think I'm gonna put the gray one. And then this for the cookie baking, I can cover up like my stove, maybe. Maybe I'll put it down here. That was the one I was a little unsure of where it was going to go. But that's generally my idea for this spread. So I'm going to focus on my stories on each of these and come up with what those stories are going to be. This one I'm thinking I'm going to do like a bullet point of just like random things I was enjoying at this point in time, because I'm thinking my main stories are going to end up on those. And this one, I think I will journal about what is on my to-do list at the time. And then I will probably, this one I'm going to have fun with just playing with some embellishments from my stash, which whenever I see a grid card like this, I always want to just pull out embellishments and play with it. So I'm super excited about that. I might put maybe like some chipboard or something from my stash on these 3x4 photos. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to go ahead and put you guys on fast forward and get this one put together. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is figuring out what my stories are to go on the story cards. So I have 5 of those right now story cards. And right now, such a general theme. It can really be anything about this week. So I'm just trying to think of 5 main stories from the week that also pair with my photos. So I decided to do a lunch date for the day that I went out to lunch with my friend Jen, on the one that is the photo of our food there. I did one for cookie baking because my daughter and I baked our Christmas cookies this week. And that's going to go on the photo of the cookies in the bottom right-hand corner. And then I had 2 photos from cookie baking, so I decided to use the other one to talk about Summer being home for Christmas break and kind of just how that was going and some of the things she was up to this week. Then I had the photo of my puzzle and homemade French fries. And so I just titled that one Puzzles and Fries and just talking about like the little things from this week. And then finally, there's the photo of Pumpkin in my den relaxing. And I decided to use that one to talk about burnout. Although it doesn't really go with the photo, it does it's a relaxing photo, which is just kind of what's needed when you're feeling burnout. And I was feeling a lot of burnout during this week. And so I wanted to document that in my spread. You can see here I'm pulling all of the story cards over to start stamping on them. I do end up switching the orange and red ones from out of order and just stamping the wrong thing on each one, but that's fine. I just switched them on the photos at the end. But that was unintentional. My original layout of the colors for each photo was what I had intended to do. This is my favorite go-to stamp set for alphas. I have this on my desk pretty much all the time, so I just pulled it over to stamp out the titles for each of these. And I do have the stamp set linked down below and in my Amazon storefront if you are interested in picking it up. So I'm just going ahead and stamping all of these things. I wrote out the words that I wanted it to say on that sticky note to make sure that I'm not spelling anything incorrectly. Since I'm not stamping one word at a time, I will stamp, if I need an O on multiple cards, I'll stamp the O's at once, but stamping each word in order so that I know where to put each letter. I hope that makes sense, but I kind of make a game out of it and see how many cards I can get, where I need an O next so that I can do a lot of O's at once. And that makes it kind of fun to stamp out the alphas on so many words. Then I'm doing my journaling. I'm looking over at my Hobonichi cousin off screen while I'm writing out this journaling and just writing a little bit about each topic and kind of telling the story. These story cards are my primary journaling on this spread, so I'm really wanting to get most of the details in of these bigger stories from the week so I don't have to mention them on other cards. I don't really have specific things in mind that I'm saying on each one, and I do get questions of how do I make my journaling fit the right thing? I just kind of write stream of conscious what I'm thinking about the topic until I get close to the end, and then I wrap it up. So that's how I end up doing that. This one goes off the page a little, so I left a little bit there so I could cut it off and fit it with that photo of my cookies. after I finish the story cards, I move on to my other journaling on the spread, just to have all of the journaling finished before I move on to embellishing. This card right here, it says to do, live in the present moment, and it has like places for you to check that off, but then also to write something in. So I decided to kind of go a different direction with the card, and I wrote so much work on that fill in checkbox. And then I'm just journaling about all of the work stuff I had going on this week. I was super stressed, and I mentioned earlier in this video, I was super burned out, and a lot of that has to do with my job. This was kind of a busy week at work, so I just wanted to make note of that on that card. And then this presently enjoying card, I'm using just as my catch-all for other little stories. So I'm writing in little things that are going on right now. The book I finished, the shows I'm watching, the fact that I'm working on December Daily. I mentioned that I was updating my washi organization. So just a lot of little stories about the week, just to kind of bring context to everything else that's going on. And I'm adding bullet points with this Zig dot marker. And again, I have that linked in the description box below and in my Amazon storefront. That is something I use pretty often for bullet points, both in my Project Life spreads and in my planning and journaling. So now I'm ready to move on to the fun part, embellishing. So what I'm doing first is I'm going through my chipboard organization and pulling out chipboard based on different categories I had. I think I pulled out the winter one first, and now I'm pulling out the red ones. And I think I'm going to pull out like the neutrals after this. And I'm just kind of going through them to see if any of them fit. That card with the 6 rectangles on it, or squares that I'm touching there, I wanted to fill each quadrant with, or it's not called a quadrant when there's 6 of them, but each section with a different embellishment. So I wanted to pick a couple of chipboard pieces for that. So I'm going to do that. And I also wanted just to add some embellishments onto the rest of the spread. In about maybe like the last year or so, I've been planning my story kits out where I'm planning like 10 projects. I used to plan like 3 or 4, but now I'm doing enough to use the entire kit. But in doing that, I don't put as many products towards my Project Life. I used to kind of work on Project Life from the kit and kind of just go from everything that's available and really focus on using the story kit as my only items in that spread. I don't do that anymore. Now I designate just a few clear items that I want to use, and then I go back in my stash to add the remaining embellishments. This system works really well for me because I want to use up supplies in my stash, and I like bringing them in and adding them in with the story kit. Of course, it is way more time consuming to go into your stash and pull out all of these things. I did pull out a bunch of different embellishments from different places in my supply stash. I do have a full playlist available here on YouTube with all my various organization systems, my chipboard, my sticker sheets, my small embellishments. So if you're curious how I organize any of those, go and check out that playlist and see the videos that you might be interested in there. And I will try to link that at the end of this video. So if you want to go there next, it will be easy to find. Now I'm just going around and adhering everything down, adding the chipboard pieces, making it all just kind of come together. Then I decided at the very end here that I wanted something else on that photo of my table with the cookies right there. I felt like there was just too much table showing. So I end up pulling a sticker from Everyday Explorers, and then I go back and find another one of those stars to add on there. These are the cork stars that I had included on a couple of spots so far on the spread. And I do like to do that where I use the same embellishment multiple places on the spread to kind of make it a little bit more cohesive. Now I'm just going ahead and slipping everything in the pockets, and I'm going to call this one done. I really, really love how this one came together, and I love that I'm so close to the end of 2023. This is a look at that completed spread. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I hope to see you guys all in the next one. Bye!